Hello, cats and kittens. Orewa Jose. Welcome back to Manga Mondays. Here to do a review or get my impressions on One Piece, chapter 994. My other name is Yamato. In this chapter, overall, I would say this chapter adds to the stakes of the overall Onigashima invasion, but it doesn't advance the story a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but it does raise the stakes. So I'll say that. It's basically composed of four scenes. The battle on the roof of Onigashima, the Luffy, Jinbei, and Sanji advancement to get to the roof, Queen's Game of Death with the Plague Bullets, which is a new introduction, and essentially Yamato's fight to protect Momonosuke. I go by each scene by scene, basically giving my impressions. First of all, the battle on the roof. Kaido's motivations, to me, first of all, he's enamored with or impressed by the fighting spirit of the samurai. We see Kiku lost an arm. My man, Kinemon cauterizes the room with his sword, with the flames from his sword. She's back on her feet, ready to fight. Admirable. That's an admirable spirit that Kaido admires. So, and he makes a statement that it's at death that a person essentially their worth is shown. You know, it completes a person's life, their death. And he mentions Whitebeard and Rogers as examples of that. So it's that I don't see that in Kaido, though. What Kaido fails to see is that it's not necessarily their death or how they died, but how their death accentuated what they lived for. You know what I mean? It's not like Rogers just got executed. He got executed to launch the new pirate era, which would ultimately bring about his successor. He was too early in his adventures. By the time he got to Laugh Tale, he found out he got there too early. So he needed a successor to come behind him and finish what he started. Therefore, he launched the new pirate age with his death. Okay, he died for what he lived for. Whitebeard died to protect his family. That's what's remembered. That's his memorial, his family. You know, what is Kaido fighting for? What he wants to start a war so that he'll be known for starting a war. But what is that war about? You know, what would his death mean? He started a war and got killed. So what? A lot of people start wars and get killed. So I'm not. I got zero respect for Kaido. You know, aside from his strength as a fighter, as a warrior, I got no respect for him because he doesn't stand for anything that I know of. But I have to go back and look at. I have to give him a closer examination. But as far as I can tell, he doesn't stand for anything. Getting drunk and fighting. I don't know what Zebek taught him or whatever, but Kaido, he's lacking in that respect. But he's a villain, so who cares? What else? Another thing I'm wondering about is how much longer the Minks can hold on to their Sulong form. As we can see that either Inuashi or Nekomamushi, they're wheezing at this point, you know, signifying that their Sulong form is coming to an end. So the casualties might start to mount up because Kaido is just getting started. He's transformed back to his human form. And if he goes to the hybrid form, it's bad now. But it's going to get worse. You know, her arm, I think Kiko's going to survive. For some reason, I think she's going to survive. I think the arm is the worst that she's going to take. But some of these cats ain't making it out. We know that. But it's probably going to become evident in the next couple of chapters. Somebody's going to take the permanent L and be scratched from the lineup. That's my impressions. So aside from that, yeah, I got no respect for Kaido, and casualties are coming. Okay, second scene. The Jinbei, Luffy, and Sanji race to the roof of Onigashima. It continues to be hilarious, mainly because of the opposition. At this point, they run into Fortrix, the chicken uh, smile user, and Hamlet, the giraffe user, both of which are dispatched quickly, which tells me that the headliners, with the exception of Hawkins, are a joke. I haven't seen one of them that's worth too much, which kind of lightens my appreciation for Kaido's crew as a whole. I mean, unless you go to the Toby Ropo or his elite fighters, there's not much there. The gifters are nothing, the pleasurers are nothing, and at this point, I don't see the headline as being much better. So it's top heavy. He has numbers. I give him that. He has hundreds of, I don't know, he's hundreds of fruit users on hand, but they're not worth a whole lot unless you're a jobber yourself. You know, then jobbers against jobbers, I guess that's a fair fight. But they're being dispatched quickly. So, like I say, my impressions of Kaido's crew as a whole, with the exception of his elite fighters, they're trash. And they're getting trashed. So there's that. But I'm enjoying, even though I'm losing some respect for the opposition, I am enjoying the banter and the humor of Luffy, Jinbei, and Sanji pounding these guys as they go to the top of the castle. The third scene, which is by far the most important and the most poignant, is Queen and his game of death, his newly initiated game of death. He's using these plague bullets. They're causing anyone who is infected by them to turn into Oni, who in turn attack others, friend or foe, and turn them into Oni, which will keep perpetuating itself until there's nothing but Oni on the battlefield, except 1 hour after they've been infected, they will die. So that means friend and foe alike will die within an hour if the antibodies to this plague are not administered. Now, as I said in the last review, I knew the Chopper couldn't work up an antidote under those circumstances because he's in the middle of a battle. There's no real time to do that. But apparently he says that if he has the antibodies, he can administer them to everyone. And it sounds almost like the same thing, but whatever. He says that he can save them if he gets the antibodies. Queen takes the antibodies and gives them to Apu and tells him that if you, I'll kill you if they take it from you. I'll kill you. Otherwise, just run and keep everybody from getting it. And it's a game at this point. It's like some kind of not tournament of death, but it's a game of death. Can they get the antibodies from Apu, who is highly motivated to self-preservation? And he has the likes of Zoro chasing him, and I assume Drake, but I'm not sure if I saw his face. And everybody is after him, friend and foe, because they need the antibodies so that they can save people that, to save themselves or save those that they care for. Now, this is going to have two effects that I can think of. One, the pleasurers, including Apu, probably are going to turn against Kaido because they don't seem none too appreciative of being treated this way. I think once Chopper administers the antibodies liberally to all, and all are saved from being, or as many as possible are saved from being Oni and dying, they're going to see Kaido in a different light, and it's quite possibly they're going to turn on him. Secondly, Chopper's going to get his big moment in terms of saving these people's lives. And to be honest with you, if in a different, if circumstances were different, equal, Chopper Queen would be the fight. But they're just not on the same level. You know, Queen is a commander level, a Yonko commander, and Chopper's not, obviously he's not there yet. But all things being equal, and in another life, that would be the fight, because it's doctor against doctor, or a sadistic type against a doctor. You know, death against life. That would be a heck of a fight. But that's not going to be the fight that we're going to see, obviously. So there's that. Also, something that was interesting to me is Huguro, the underworld boss leader who's fighting with Luffy, tells one of his men not to turn. He's turning into a Oni, but he tells him, "Don't turn the blade on yourself. If needs be, I'll take you out before you turn into a Oni, but never take yourself out." I'm wondering, is that an underworld code, or is that Bushido? Because technically they're samurai-ish. But that doesn't sound like Bushido. Almost tells me that you would take yourself out before you would be turned into something that will harm others. But that's just a side point. So we still see Kid Law unaccounted for. Big Mom hasn't come back into the fight. Sparrow and yeah, and Marco haven't yet. There's still a lot of people out there to be accounted for, and we don't know exactly where they're going to enter the fray. So there's a lot going on that level. That I'm curious to see how that works out. The final scene, while it's not my favorite, I still am interested in seeing the growing relationship between Momonosuke and Yamato, because Yamato stands up very well, tanks a furious attack to save Momonosuke and Shinobu, protecting them from Sasaki. She's, like I say, she's showing herself very capable fighter. She sends a bunch of them flying with an attack and announces herself as Yamato. You know, I use the name, you know, Kazuki Oden before, but as the title of the chapter, my other name is Yamato. So she's standing up for herself and defending Momonosuke from Sasaki, and props to her. She gets props on this one. That is going to play out fairly soon. So there's a lot going on, but the stakes have changed. It's gone from being a full-fledged invasion to being an invasion / rescue mission, with trying to get the antibodies away from Apu to save millions who are about to be infected. So on the whole, I would give it a grade of the chapter as being a B+. Not much overall advancement to the battle, but some poignant moments and some raised stakes. So I look forward to reviewing 995. I don't think we're on break this week, so we should get a chapter this week as far as I know. That's it. I hope you enjoyed the chapter, and see you next week. Now, I might have another review today, but I can't promise that. So I'll see you later. Stay loose.